Okay, so if you've spent any real time in a gym, especially around weights, you know that feeling.
Oh, yeah. That little voice.
Exactly. That voice saying, go on, add another plate, you know? You want to push it, maybe you glance over, see someone else lifting heavy.
The comparison trap.
Right. And suddenly you feel this pressure. And sometimes, your brain just checks out and you go for it and maybe something pops.
Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. And that right there, that's the big conflict we're diving into today. It's that silent battle happening in every single lift. Form versus ego. We've gone through the source material, the training guides, research papers, expert articles, and honestly, the message is crystal clear. Focusing on technique. It isn't just about not getting hurt.
No, it's fundamental.
It's the only real way to actually get stronger, get the results you want, and stay in the game long term. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and this is so important because, look, we need to cut through the usual motivational fluff sometimes. This is about mechanics, about how your body actually works. If you, listening right now, are kind of sacrificing your joints, or maybe not even hitting the muscle you think you're hitting because you're just chasing a number, then you're basically trading like long-term success for maybe feeling good for 5 minutes.
Vanity, right.
Yeah.
We want to make sure every single rep you do is doing the most work possible efficiently.
Okay, so first things first, let's define our terms. Understanding these two forces is kind of the first step. Our sources don't frame this as like a moral issue, but more of a technical one, a choice.
A choice between two very different ways to train, yeah.
So let's nail down these definitions. Yeah. The sources are pretty specific. On one side, form.
Right.
And this isn't just vague doing it right.
Yeah.
Form, technically, is the precise biomechanical alignment, how your bones and muscles should be positioned during a specific movement.
It's like the engineering spec for the exercise. Exactly. Designed to put maximum tension on the target muscle while keeping the load distributed safely across your joints.
And then there's the other side, ego.
The famous ego.
Yeah, and we shouldn't just dismiss it as showing off, though sometimes it is. In this context, ego is more like a cognitive bias.
Okay.
It pushes you past good technique because you want that immediate validation, maybe from others, maybe just from yourself, seeing the heavier weight. It sort of hijacks your body's own feedback.
So it makes you ignore the warning signs.
Pretty much. It's that impulse saying, just lift it.
Yeah.
Even if your form goes out the window. Heavier weight, maybe sloppy extra reps. It's ego talking.
It's wild how inefficient that actually is, mechanically speaking. When your ego takes the wheel and you start, using momentum or weird jerky movements just to get the weight up, what's actually happening?
Well, the sources call this the efficiency sinkhole, which I think is a great term.
Yeah, paints a picture.
It does. Because when you lose that precise form, you're not hitting the target muscle properly anymore. You might feel like you're working hard, but
the wrong things are working.
Exactly. A rep with bad form might risk injury, and it might recruit, say, 80% secondary muscles, helper muscles, leaving maybe less than 20% of the actual stimulus on the muscle you wanted to work.
Wow. So you're putting in maximum effort.
For a minimal return on the intended muscle, it's basically wasted effort, wasted training volume.
That completely changes the goal, doesn't it? It's not about just moving weight from A to B.
Not at all. It's about stimulating the muscle effectively.
And once you really grasp that idea, that efficiency sinkhole, then focusing on form becomes, well, obvious. It's the only logical choice.
It really is.
So let's get practical. What are the concrete benefits? Why should someone listening prioritize perfect technique rep after rep? Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, yeah, the benefits are huge, and we can boil them down to 4 main pillars. These really give you the why behind focusing on technique.
Pillar 1.
First up, the most obvious but critical one, injury prevention. Simple as that. When your form is right, the load goes where it's supposed to, onto the strong muscles, and the joints are stable.
Less strain, fewer sprains.
Exactly. You avoid those injuries that just completely derail your progress, sometimes forcing you out of the gym for weeks or worse.
Okay, makes sense. Structural safety. What's next?
Building on that safety, the second pillar is targeted muscle activation. Good form isn't just safer, it actively ensures you're hitting the muscles you intend to hit.
So you're actually working what you mean to work.
Precisely. You're maximizing the signal to those muscle fibers. This leads directly to better muscle growth, better strength gains over time. It's the difference between just doing a set and actually earning the results from that set.
I like that, earning the set. Okay, so safety, then effective targeting. Where does that lead?
Well, that leads pretty smoothly into the third point, long-term progress. Think about like building a house. Proper technique is like pouring a really solid, high-quality concrete foundation. If that base, your form is strong and stable.
You can keep building on top of it safely.
Forever, potentially. You can progress steadily, safely, without constantly hitting plateaus or having setbacks because of injury. This focus on form over ego is what makes fitness sustainable. Your progress compounds instead of this cycle of push, injure, reset.
Right, avoiding the 2 steps forward, 1 step back problem. Okay, and the 4th pillar. The sources seem to emphasize this one quite a bit.
Yeah, this one's maybe a bit more nuanced, but incredibly powerful. The mind-muscle connection.
Ah, okay. Heard that term a lot.
By really concentrating on executing each rep with perfect form, you're actually training your brain. You get better at feeling and controlling the specific muscles doing the work.
But it's a mental skill, too.
Absolutely. It makes the whole workout much more efficient because you're truly engaged. It almost turns training into a form of active meditation, really focused.
Interesting. It's the difference between just moving the weight versus actively commanding it.
Spot on. And that requires intense focus, being present in the movement.
And that focus, that presence, is exactly what ego tries to hijack, right? If form is about control and focus, ego is basically distraction.
Pretty much, yeah. It pulls your attention outward to the weight, to others, instead of inward to the feeling of the muscle working.
So how do we catch ourselves? When does that focus slip? Let's talk about spotting the signs. What are the red flags that tell you, uh-oh, my ego might be driving this set? Because these things can creep in pretty easily.
They really can. And recognizing these signs is the first step to pulling back and avoiding that efficiency sinkhole we talked about. The sources highlight 4 main indicators that ego, not good sense, is running the show.
Okay, lay them on us.
First, the most obvious one, actively sacrificing form to lift heavier weights. If you know your back is rounding on a deadlift just to get it up, or your knees are collapsing inward on a squat.
That's ego. Pure and simple.
Yep. Number 2, using momentum to complete repetitions. Instead of smooth, controlled movement. You see this a lot with curls, right? That little hip thrust to get the bar moving.
Oh, yeah. The body English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're cheating the muscle you're trying to work, just trying to move the weight any way you can. That's ego trying to hit a rep count or a weight target.
Okay, what's third? This one sounds serious.
It is. Number 3 is ignoring pain or discomfort to hit a goal. We're not talking about muscle fatigue burn. We're talking sharp pain, grinding, things that feel wrong.
Pain is a signal.
It's a critical signal from your nervous system. Pushing through that because you decided beforehand you had to get 10 reps, that's actively choosing a high risk of injury.
Yeah.
It's not tough. It's foolish.
Right. Not worth it. And the last one.
The last one is often more subtle, but just as damaging.
Right.
Excessive external comparison. Constantly looking at what the person next to you is lifting and adjusting your own workout based on that.
Keeping up with the Joneses, gym edition.
Basically. Fitness progress is internal. It's personal. When you start basing your lifts on someone else's abilities, you're letting external factors override what your body needs. You're training for them, not you.
It stops being training and becomes like a performance.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can understand all this intellectually, right? Avoid the sinkhole, watch for the red flags. But then you're actually there, you're tired, the weight feels heavy. That ego pull is strong.
It really is.
So how do we actually do it? How do we choose form in that moment? We need a practical toolkit. Actionable steps for the next workout.
Absolutely. And the sources give us 5 really solid, practical tips you can use immediately to keep form front and center.
Let's hear them. Tip 1.
Tip 1 is fundamental. Start light. Seriously. Lighter than you probably think.
Okay, but define light. Is that 50% of my max? Or how do we know? Because just saying start light can be vague for someone trying to apply this.
That's a great question. It's not really about a percentage. Light, according to our sources, is defined by control. It's the heaviest weight you could lift while maintaining absolutely perfect control, alignment, and full range of motion for every single intended rep in the set.
Okay. So if I plan for 10 reps, but only the first 3 are perfect and the rest get sloppy.
You started too heavy, drop the weight until all 10 are clean, master the movement pattern, the neuromuscular connection first, then slowly add resistance.
Got it. Control dictates the weight. That leads into the second tip, right? Which is?
Focus on technique. Seems obvious, but it means paying active, close attention to your body alignment and how you're moving during each rep of each set. Not just the warm-ups. Really feel it.
Okay, consistent focus. Tip 3.
This builds on the pain point we discussed. Listen to your body. Seriously listen. If something feels genuinely wrong, sharp pain, a grinding sensation, instability you can't control, stop.
You don't just push through.
Don't push through that. Stop. Figure out what's wrong. Maybe modify the exercise. Maybe lower the weight significantly. Maybe skip it for the day. Today's health is way more important than today's numbers.
Crucial for sustainability. Okay, fourth tip. This one might require looking outside ourselves.
It often does, especially for complex lifts like squats, deadlifts, overhead presses. Tip 4 is seek guidance.
Get a coach or trainer.
Yeah, a qualified professional. They can give you objective feedback on your form that you just can't see yourself, even in a mirror. Tiny things like knee tracking or subtle backgrounding or bar path issues, that expert eye can be invaluable.
Makes sense. Invest in getting it right. And the final tip.
The 5th tip brings us back to that internal focus. Practice mindfulness. This really ties into the mind-muscle connection.
Being present.
Exactly. Stay present during your workout. Focus intently on the quality of each individual repetition, not just hitting a certain quantity. That internal focus is what elevates exercise to effective training, and it's your best defense against ego creeping in.
Quality over quantity. It seems so simple, but it's easy to forget in the moment.
Very easy.
Okay, so pulling all this together, the big takeaway seems clear. Long-term, sustainable fitness success isn't just about leaving your ego at the door. It's more active than that. It's about actively engaging that mind-muscle connection, prioritizing quality movement, and consciously avoiding that efficiency sinkhole. That seems to be the smart approach, the knowledgeable path forward.
Absolutely. It's about training smarter, not just harder in a way that undermines you. And, if we zoom out for a second, connecting this focus on quality of movement, on being present during the lift,
Yeah.
it offers a really interesting challenge, I think.
How so?
Well, we spend so much time thinking about the physical results of our workouts.
Yeah.
But this principle focusing entirely on controlling the movement, on that mind-muscle link,
Yeah.
it's basically an intense exercise in concentration, in pure presence.
Like meditation in motion.
Kinda, yeah. So here's a thought to leave you with, the listener. If you can cultivate that level of intense present focus and control during something physically demanding like lifting weights,
Yeah.
how else could developing that mental muscle, that discipline, that concentration, how could that bleed over and improve the quality of your focus at work, your decision-making under pressure, your overall mental clarity outside the gym?
That's a powerful thought. The discipline forged under the bar could strengthen focus everywhere else.
It's worth considering, right?
Absolutely. Excellent point to ponder. So the message is clear. Embrace the form. Understand the mechanics, reject the ego shortcuts, apply this knowledge starting with your very next workout, and watch your progress become truly sustainable and ultimately unstoppable.